Today I'm going to be sharing with you my 1 month experience with the Eureka J15 Pro Ultra. Now Eureka did send me this robot mop and vacuum combo, and prior to this, what I'm replacing this with is the iRobot Roomba. Before I start, in the description you will find the different chapters to this video and then also a link in case you want to buy this vacuum for yourself. First and foremost, I want to start with the design. At the very front of the robot vacuum, you're going to see the camera, and that's responsible for not only a cool feature which allows you to do video patrolling and see what the robot's seeing, but also things like detecting stains, detecting a spill, so it can clean efficiently. Also at the front are two lights beside the camera, so one on each side, and this is going to be responsible for helping the robot clean efficiently when there is low light situations. At the top of the robot, you've got a LiDAR sensor, which is responsible for just helping the robot navigate in a way to where it's not running into things or destroying your furniture or anything. Also on the top side, if you flip open the top of the robot, this is where you find the dust filter. You'll also find the QR code here, which is used when you are setting up the robot initially. There's also a reset button, so that's in case you need to reset your robot. On the bottom side of the robot, you've got the wheels, you've got the spinning brush, you've got the mop pads, and then also the main roller. Now those are the design elements in terms of the robot itself, but then it also comes with a base station, just like any other robot vacuum that you get. The base station itself has a front side that you can open up, and that's where the disposal bag is. Then at the top side, you have a clean water tank and then also a dirty water tank. Okay, with the design out of the way, let's take a look at the app. So the app is really simple. The robot was very easy to set up. I scanned the QR code, set up my robot, and connected it to Wi-Fi and everything. So when you log into the app, you can enter, and when you go into it, you're going to see all your different rooms. So just like with any other robot, one of the very first things that you're going to want to do is just map out your floor plan. This is going to be essential so that way the robot can know where the different rooms are and everything. And here in the app is where you assign the rooms. So you can create dividers, you can set up the different rooms, you could create zones. You can also tweak the different settings of the robot. Things like how intensely do you want it to be picking up the dust, and how intense do you want it to be when it comes to mopping the floors. Also here is where you're going to be able to create a bunch of different shortcuts. So I've got one for like full cleaning, which will do like the kitchen, dining, living room. Then you've got kitchen vacuum only, kitchen vacuum and mop. So you can really create shortcuts based on your individual needs. And also the cool thing is that this does work with the different voice assistants. So if you've got any of those, I don't want to mention their names because I don't want to trigger anybody's voice assistant. But if you've got any one of those, then you can set it up and make different shortcuts and just use voice to automate the tasks of your robot vacuum. But by far, one of the coolest features of the app is video patrol. So you can actually tap into the camera of the vacuum when it's doing different tasks and everything, or if you just want to patrol a certain area. Now it will notify anyone that's there that the camera is on, and if you are recording a video, which you can do. But this is really cool. Like if you ever want to check in on a pet, you can literally control it like a remote control car, and you're seeing what the robot is seeing. So next I want to talk about some of the cool features this robot has. I talked about its camera and the fact that it has AI, right? So what's really cool is, let's say you've got a bunch of crumbs on the floor, but then you've also got a spill on the floor. So the robot's going to be able to see that and navigate in a way that it doesn't create a mess. For example, let's say if you have a spill, you wouldn't want that going into the actual roller or the vacuum portion of the robot, right? And likewise, if you have a bunch of crumbs, you don't want them getting on the wet mop pads. So what the robot will actually do is split up these two tasks and do them individually. So it'll pick up the crumbs, and what's really cool is that it even slows down like the spinning brush. So that way it doesn't get the crumbs all over any of your rooms. So it'll deal with all those crumbs, and once it does that, then it will go and clean up the spill, or vice versa. But whichever one it's doing, it's smart enough to not let either interfere with the other. Another cool thing is its ability to clean in the dark. So what we like to typically do is when we're leaving the house in the evening, we'll leave a couple lights on and let the Roomba run. So in order to test this and see how good its low light cleaning is, I left the lights completely off. We left for the evening, it was completely dark, and the robot did a vacuum and mop run, and it did a phenomenal job. Because prior to this, like when I was monitoring it during the day and just, looking at things like, okay, when it gets on carpet, is it gonna get the carpet wet? Or vice versa. And it was doing such a great job. Like anytime this robot is vacuuming and mopping at the same time, it's smart enough to know when it's come on carpet, and it knows exactly when to come off so it can drop the pads back down. So it does a really good cleaning job. Also, what's nice is that it's got an ability to extend its mop pad out. So when you get under those things like the cabinet and the floor area, right, where the floor meets like the end of your cabinets in the kitchen or any corners, right, it's going to be able to extend that mop pad and get into those hard to reach spots. But at the same time, it's not going to like bump into anything. Now, one thing I really love, and this could be a huge thing for you, or maybe not really a concern, is just like the operational sounds of the robot. So if you're someone that has kids or anything, this is really great because not only does it run quieter than our Roomba, but it also does a really good job with emptying out the dustbin at a much quieter level. On top of that, it's got a specific setting inside of the app that allows you to quieten it even more. So this is not really a concern for me because we like to usually run our robot when we're not home. But if you do have kids in the house that might be down for a nap or something, and you're concerned about the sound the robot's going to make when it's doing its vacuuming and mopping, then this is a huge plus. Now, when it comes to cleaning, another cool thing is that this has built-in scissors. This is really cool because if you have pets or if the robot is picking any kind of hair up, it's actually going through a cutting process at the end to make sure that the rollers don't get, cluttered with hair rolled all over them. I can't tell you how many times this has happened with my Roomba, so this is definitely something I appreciate. Now, you will still have hair clump up like on the side brush or in the wheels, which I think is something you really can't avoid. But in terms of on the actual brush and going into the vacuum, it does a really good job with it. Another nice feature is the self-cleaning base station. So whenever the robot is doing its cleaning routine, if you have a big enough space, right, then it's actually going to go back to the base station, empty out that dirty water, and then also clean its mop pads. So for example, let's say it found a stain and it attacked that, cleaned it all up. It's actually going to return to the base station, clean itself up, and then go back. So that way it's not taking those stains that are on the mop pad now and spreading them throughout your clean home. So that is definitely a huge plus. Like whenever we are running it and it goes out for a mopping session, it definitely goes back 2 to 3 times because I have it run with like a dual pass. So it definitely goes back a couple of times and it'll empty itself out, clean itself up, and then return to completing the job. Now, another thing I want to cover is cost because I'm coming from an iSelect iRobot membership, which is $30 and again, US dollars a month. And what that entails is that they'll send you out the Roomba, and anything that goes wrong with the Roomba is fully covered. At the same time, anytime you need a new brush, a new bag, or a new roller, or anything associated with the iRobot itself, it just automatically happens. And that was actually really nice. And one thing I really liked is that, okay, you don't have to worry about first buying the robot and then buying this thing or that thing, and it's just an automated process. But if you look at it like over the course of 3 years, we basically paid $360 a year. And I just recently ended my membership after fully testing out the Eureka because I wanted to make sure it's a solid product before I just cancel my other membership. And as soon as you cancel the membership, your iRobot cannot be used at all. So you can't use it yourself, or you can't even, give it to anyone, or there's no end date. Whereas with this, it's like, okay, you pay the $1,000, you get the robot, and then you can continue to buy like the additional accessories, like buy a dirt bag if you need, or a new filter and whatnot. And I'm sure that it really depends like on the type of cleaning that you need, how frequently you clean, and maybe a monthly membership might work better for you, or maybe a one-off type of deal. But looking at it now, I didn't really think about this before, but now that I think about it, I think it's better to just buy it one off because we're not really cleaning a huge space. We're only using this on the main floor, and you don't need to replace all these things all the time. So even if you have to go and buy these accessories individually, it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. And that is just one additional thing. But at least you're not worried about a membership that's going to continue with you for the lifetime of the membership. If you look at how much we spent over the course of 3 years, it was equivalent to this amount. And even though Eureka sent me this robot, if I had to do it over again, I'd rather just buy the robot one time, pay it, and then just, get the different accessories and everything. Because where this robot really shines is just its efficiency. It does such a smart and efficient cleaning job that it's really worth it because you're saving so much time. I really hope that this video helps you in deciding whether or not this is a good robot vacuum and mop combo to put into your home. If you do have like additional questions, drop that in comments below and I'll be happy to help. Thank you so much for your time. If you enjoyed this, please do give it a thumbs up. And most importantly, take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video.